Hey, you. It's me. You already know what I'm here to do. I'm here to commentate on something, talk a little bit about something, because I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut about a lot of these issues and a lot of these topics. So instead of me running my mouth, you've seen the title, we're gonna dive on in.
I am expected to have a big dick. 3, 2, 1, go.
First off, we know where this comes from. We know the stereotyping of black people during slavery and how sometimes they would hang black men upside down, exposing the genitalia. We know from experience why European Americans have this flawed idea. We were taken and stolen from our home and made to dance on these ships and on these boats. Long voyages across to the America, a land, or rather to the Americas, a land that was stolen and taken from indigenous Native American peoples. And so we know where all of this comes from. We get it, we got it.
I think it gets into the issue of positive and negative stereotypes and how people need to realize that there is no such thing, because what you do is you put people into a box where they're expected to live up to a standard. And I feel like it's over-sexualizing black men, you know? You should want to date someone more for the pleasure physically that they can bring to you. And I know I've talked to people personally who will be like, oh, you're lucky you're black, you have a big member. And I'm like, well, I have other things to offer too. Like, I'm well-spoken, I have a good sense of humor, I'm well-traveled. Like, you go straight to like what's underneath my zipper.
You see so many white people, you see so many people who are not black, in whatever relationship status they're in. You see them fetishizing this thing, this people, this group of people. Oh, I want to be with a black person because black people have X, Y, and Z, and some of those things are true, but what's the root of it?
The N-word should stop being used by all races. 3, 2, 1, go.
That's hard. I just think the N-word, when you look at the root of the word, even slaves would use it to describe other black people when accepting their supposed oppression. So I just think, when I think about that, I don't think you can do anything to erase the history and the blood that's been shed on that word. There are so many people who the last thing they heard was the N-word as they were being murdered. So when I think about that, yes, I think the word should stop being used.
The N-word should stop being used by non-black people, unless it's in a film and we're making a commentary about race, or it's in a play, some piece of art where race there's a commentary about it, mainly by a black creator. But if we're outside of that context, us, black people, have every right to use it. Why? Because it was used as a term to oppress, hurt, harm, beat, and belittle us. And what did we do? We said, not today. And we took that word, and now we own it, and now we say it to mean friend, or to mean bro, or to mean dude. And sometimes we can say it to harm one another, and that's something we can also work on. But to tell our people that we can't use it because how white people inaugurally, or in the beginning, used it.
Respectfully, I ain't trying to hear that, right? Like, I feel like the only reason it's policed so much, and I feel like the only reason we even have like this debate or this debacle over whether we can use it or not, is because we're black people. And I'm not one of those people that think everything is racist and all that, but in this specific instance, right? In several instances, women in many instances have reclaimed the word bitch to be a term of endearment. There are, in the 90s, there was heavier women reclaimed the word fat, obviously respelling it and things like that. But I feel like in those instances, nobody bats an eye. Why is that understood? But with this, it's so confusing. Like, oh, I don't know if like, you know when there are boundaries set.
Homophobia is a big issue in the black community. 3, 2, 1, go.
And here's where I'm gonna make some people mad. I'm gonna put it really plain and simple so that people understand and they can get it and they can conceptualize it in their head. The original Bible never said anything about homosexuality. The original Bible was talking about pedophilia. It actually, the original statement was abusers of themselves with mankind, and then was translated to man shall not lie with a young boy as he does with a woman, for it is an abomination. The Bible has been used as a tool to keep black people mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically enslaved. A lot of black people are still in a slave mindset because the white domineering society keeps them there. And it is only until you become awakened and you wake yourself up out of this ideology that master says, I gotta be Christian. Says who? But our culture, customs, traditions, languages, our very livelihood was ripped away from us and was replaced with a book that was mistranslated after making its way from Judea over to Europe. Us black people have to wake up. It was a conscious, courageous, and now destructive attempt to rip the black livelihood apart. And white people have done it very, very well. As a matter of fact, in 2017, in a study done at Yale, the RSV committee of the Bible concluded that the word homosexual was a harmful and inaccurate translation of the original text, but the sort of head of the committee had just signed an agreement that they couldn't make any changes to the RSV version of the Bible for another 10 years. So the word homosexual has to sit in that Bible until 2027. The evidence is right here, and we're seeing it. It's just people don't want to wake up to it. And black people specifically don't want to wake up to it because we have been enslaved in the mind. Because everything we had was stripped away from us.
I don't play them colorism games over here.
All right, so the reason why subconsciously for me, the reason why I feel that way is, growing up, I was always, bullied for my skin color. I always felt out of place. I was always told I'm not black enough. And when you constantly hear that and you get beat down with that and, you doubt yourself. And like I said, I grew up in a broken home. I grew up in a foster care system. So it took me a long time to figure out myself. And for a lot of times, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I used to hate the way I looked. I was like, I don't like being dark skinned.
And that colorism plays, that toxic colorism plays its way into so many things. We see so many black people and white people get together to have these caramel looking babies, these biracial babies, because that is preferred so much more over a darker skinned person. Because with the term black comes a lot. If you look at the dictionary definition, it talks about evil and menacing. All of these things, not about the skin color, but about the color black. So when you prescribe black onto a people and white onto another people, white being pure, innocent, and lovely, those two will automatically juxtapose each other and be in collision.
But you can't mix up self-care with therapy.
Okay,
it's
maybe that's what
two
I'm
different
doing.
things. Yeah, I've been in therapy for quite some time, personal therapy, just for myself, just issues that I have internally that I speak with someone with on a professional level. I recommend therapy. Therapy is literally the best thing you could possibly do.
I want to get involved in therapy because even though I've been on a healing journey, a weight loss journey, reclaiming my happiness and my peace and forgiving people in my past and talking to my inner child and asking him what he needs and what he didn't receive as a child, it's going to be nice to have someone to have the tools to give you therapy. Is like going to a auto body shop where instead of them fixing your car, they give you the tools to go out and work on your car. They're not going to fix it for you, but they're going to give you the necessary tools, terminology, vocabulary to talk about the things that you need to do and what you want to do. A lot of black people should be going to therapy, but specifically should be trying to find black therapists because a lot of white therapists just won't understand.
He passed away when I was around 7 or 8. So I can't really fault him for that. But, my mom, she was widowed, so she lost a husband, and she decided to take care of us. And I don't think my life would be any different. I don't regret not having a dad, but sometimes I do wonder, secretly, what life would have been like if I had that fatherly figure in my life.
My father was not present in my life for the first 5 years, but then he passed away. And I recognized recently, I was watching a video of, I think, a father and a son, and I started to feel my inner child internally, and I began to cry because I was thinking about that's really what I wanted.
I think that it's never too late to mend a relationship. It's never too late to rewrite the story. I mean, you can't go back in time and change anything, but you can definitely mend the relationship. Because although I have a good relationship with my father, relationships are constant maintenance and they're work. And I know that parents can be toxic too. They can break your heart more than anyone else can. I'm not saying that your dad did. But maybe you should start today. Give him a call, invite him out for a coffee, start somewhere.
Father's Day coming up, dog. You know what I'm saying?
And that is officially a wrap.
Hey!
It was nice seeing that. I can hear the fireworks, 4th of July. What do we have to celebrate? Anyway. It was nice seeing that. And it was nice seeing that because the Black community has a lot of work to do. I mean, a lot of it is intergenerational. These intergenerational curses and intergenerational spirits are passed down. This bigotry and misogyny and homophobia, all of it is passed down, and it's a learned trait. You learn to hate people. And now we are African American. I am African American. I'm not African American. Yes, I was born here, but I go. We definitely have a lot of work to do, a lot of mending, a lot of healing of trauma, but I've started that journey, and I hope others have as well. To the healers, to the healing, and to the healed, all these things I say as I send you on your way.